How are we doing, Highway Rivals family? We're here for episode number 1 of the Highway Rivals podcast. I know I'm excited. I know these two guys next to me are excited. I've got Nate to my left, Trent to my right. This is going to be your go-to podcast for everything Louisville and UK. Do not get it twisted. We know more ball than you. Secondly, we're going to talk about everything. We're not just Louisville and UK fans. We're fans of all sports. So that just comes with the territory, I guess. So don't bar us for insane takes, because when you watch that many sports, you're going to have insane takes. But we're going to go ahead and get rolling with our first topic being our way too early top 25 as a podcast for the 2026 season. Obviously, we got Louisville at 3, UK at 4, highlights the top 25 in my opinion. But you can't sleep on teams like BYU, who are paying kids with the church's money, I'm going to assume.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on over there in Utah, but you've got Dan Hurley right back in the top 15. He's got some good transfers coming in. He's got recruits coming in. Can't sleep on him. Izzo down at the bottom at 22. We've got some super high caliber coaches and teams and programs on our top 25. So it's not many hot takes other than the fact that Louisville may be at 3. And that's where I'm going to start. Nate, how do we feel as a UK fan, the Cards falling to 3 on our own top 25? Your buddies might say you're a traitor for that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Where we stand right now this week in the transfer portal, you guys are at the top of the transfer portal. You got a couple returning players. It just makes sense coming off of a good year. I think you guys got a lot of talented players that have been in some intense games before and some good programs. I know you guys are going to touch on those guys and who you've got in the past week and whatnot. But yeah, I see them being up there. Maybe 3 is a little bit too high for me, but definitely in the top 10.
And on that same note, I'm going to flip the script to a Cards fan on my right, joining me in unison. Love the Cards. How do we feel about, even with the slow kind of transfer portal so far for Kentucky, how do we feel about them claiming a top 5 spot?
I mean, honestly, it's Kentucky. I mean, they're going to get transfers. They have returning players. I mean, they're coming off a Sweet 16 after a first-year head coaching season. So, I mean, that's really, really good, honestly. And the fact that, if Oweh's coming back, and then you got young talent coming in like Jasper Johnson, Malachi Moreno, just these young guys that are going to come in and really learn. I feel like they got a lot of talent. But, obviously today, Lamar Wilkinson commits to Indiana, and I was pretty sure that, I think we all thought that he was going to Kentucky, but we'll get into that. But I think they're top 5. They always bring in talent every year, no matter the coach. I think talented players want to come play in your program, and that's coming from a Louisville fan. So
I 100% agree. Me being a Louisville fan, and I'm sure you feel the same way, we've endured our whole lives of them being really good at basketball, other than a couple select years where it was just down, and everyone's going to have those. When you have the status that they have, you can't ever just not have them in your top 25.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone your top 25. I mean, they're usually a top 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
We knew Cal to have all these high caliber high school classes. But now the game's changed a little bit with Mark Pope, Nate. And with Mark Pope, I want to hit on this subject for a second, because we're going to talk about key players coming in for you guys. What grade are we giving him first year? Because I think he did great, and I think he's a perfect fit in Lexington. But obviously, you're going to have your own feelings about it being an actual fan. So.
Yeah. So for me, I went to a lot of Kentucky basketball events, games this year. It kind of brought me back into it more than I have been maybe the past couple of years. The last couple of years have been fun but rough. We had a really exciting team last year. Not going to talk about it too much, but Mark Pope this year starting out, we had that press conference and everybody was really unsure. When we first hired him, was really unsure. But then it like a switch flipped in the next 48 hours. Rupp was packed for a press conference to introduce our head basketball coach. You guys probably saw the media and everything that came around that. And then just getting into the season, I was there for one of our first SEC games against Florida. Packed house. They won the Natty
Oh,
this
you went
year.
to that game too?
Yeah, and we ended up beating them 106 to 100.
Oh, yeah, that
I
was a
mean,
great game. I remember watching
a
it.
ridiculous offensive game.
Yeah.
And then I go to the road game against Mississippi State. Tough game on the road. We got some guys out. We ended up winning it at the end, and it was seeing what Mark Pope does after those games, talking to fans, getting up in the stands, signing autographs, all the things. We made it to a Sweet 16 to wrap it up. Didn't do too well in the SEC tournament, but just the reconnection between the fan base and the basketball program and what he had with what time he had, you got to give him an A and no less than that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you look at the fact that maybe if you guys play anyone else in the Sweet 16 game, you're in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And that's not me trying to glaze UK by any means, but I mean, I don't know that we've seen a situation like that
Right.
where you're rolling into a madhouse of Tennessee fans for one that have lost twice to you that year.
Right.
So
And
it's a tough spot.
it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And talking about that, let me ask you guys a question. So you guys lost in the first round this year, but I will say you guys got a terrible seed. Yes, you played at Rupp, but I feel like it was just like kind of a bad situation. It's the first game of the tournament on a Thursday early in Rupp Arena. Like
First game of the tournament.
yeah, like very first game. Like I would be upset as you guys are as a fan because you guys played a really good Creighton team. I mean, they shot the lights out against you guys. They've
Yeah,
won in the
they
first
couldn't
round
miss.
the past 5 years. They've made it past the first round. So like, just how do you guys feel about Pat Kelsey's first season and where you guys are headed?
I'll let you go.
All right, I'll go first. Genuinely, as a fan, I'm just excited that Louisville basketball is something, that is huge again. I mean, being a top 5, way too early top. I know it doesn't mean anything because Kansas was 1 and they didn't do anything. But just the fact that Louisville basketball is back in the conversations again, that they could actually do this thing and make a run in March is all you ever want to hear.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we've been in some rough spots with Kenny Payne, the coaching carousel, just going back and forth. I feel like we finally got our guy with Pat Kelsey. The fact that he won 25 plus games in a first season, coming from a mid-major as well, is really impressive. The fact that he's getting pretty much everybody that we've wanted out of the transfer portal so far is amazing. But to overview on the season, really, I mean, obviously we wanted to make a better run in March, but the fact that we played in a weak ACC, obviously that led to us getting a 8 seed, which most people didn't agree with, even Kentucky fans didn't agree with. But at the end of the day, we got a tough matchup with Creighton in the tournament.
Terrible.
And it is what it is, really. But at the same time, we're going to have returning talent. We got more talent coming in than last year. So I'm really excited for the future. And I think Pat Kelsey has given us that energy again. Like you said, when he was going around campus, just getting the fans involved, getting the students involved, just trying to get everybody to believe again. And I think that's what's really going on with Louisville. And I think, you can't give them less than an A for sure.
Well, the things that Pat Kelsey brings, Rick Pitino did not bring. He does not, and that's not a diss to Rick Pitino. I mean, if Denny Crum never coached here, maybe he's the greatest we've ever had.
Or if he
Regardless
stays,
of a vacated natty, I mean, we all watched the game.
If he stays and nothing happens, I mean,
So
anything could have happened.
But Pat Kelsey brings something completely different that Denny Crum brought. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I was alive for the Denny Crum era, but I've heard countless stories. My manager at work has shared meals with him before. He was a stone in the community, dude. He lived in the Highlands. Like he golfed at Cherokee. Like he was in the community. And I think that's what we're seeing with Pat Kelsey. His son goes to school here now. We've got our whole team going to his son's games, and not to get super off track here, I think that's what we're dealing with now is an energy guy, which is amazing because regardless of, Rick Pitino's status, that's not him. That's not him. I hate losing. I hate every part about not winning. You're going to run a million sprints at practice
Yep,
until
no
I
doubt.
get tired. So I'm just happy to have Pat. I'd give it an A++. With one minor asterisk. It's kind of what I've been telling you guys is he's now 0-5 in the tournament. And one of those tournaments with Charleston, he was a 12 seed. So it wasn't like they were a 16 seed Norfolk State
right.
trying to upset Duke. They
Right.
were a 12 going against a 5 because when mid-majors get 12 seeds, they're really good.
Right.
And I think, though, honestly, if they don't win a tournament game this upcoming year, then there's that conversation
It's gonna
for
look
sure.
bad. It's gonna look bad
because of the talent that's coming in.
It's gonna look bad. So to end that, absolutely love the guy. Grand slam on the hire. But he's got to prove it a little bit. So we're going to run into kind of relating with our top 25. We've got our transfer portal news from April 15th, which is today, recording of this podcast. There has been a million kids transfer everywhere. We'll get into our guys, but there is no way we could keep up with all that. But I'm going to let Nate take this section. He's our expert on this. So, Nate, let's hear it, dude.
Yeah, so we're going to start with Lamar Wilkerson. This has been a big conversation the last few days, just in the media and online. We had him visit this past Saturday and Sunday, I believe. There was pictures of him and Pope at Keeneland and going over the city and just all the things. Fans and insiders at Kentucky were saying, like, this guy's a for sure. He canceled his visits right afterwards.
Yeah. And not to cut you off, and this is like for UK fans, he looked happy. He looked happy while he was smiling.
Mark Pope looked happy.
Everyone looked happy.
It looked like a good vibe.
Yeah.
Vibes were good. But today, commits to Indiana, and I listened to Field of 68. He hopped on there for a quick live interview.
After he committed?
Yeah, right after he committed. Yep. Pretty much just said that he wanted to bring Hoosier basketball back, and that he just didn't want to be another guy at Kentucky. And that was pretty much the overall gist of why he ended up making that decision. Mm-hmm. Then we had AJ Storr from Kansas to Ole Miss. I think that's a great pickup. You guys got anything on that one?
I mean, we saw the kid go insane at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like the same season as John Tonje just had for Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, is if you go play for Kansas and Bill Self doesn't really like you, you're going to play bad, and you're going to get your minutes cut, and that's just the reality of everyone who's ever transferred to Kansas since this has been a thing.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, though. I mean, if you go to Kansas, especially coming off the season that he had, I mean, what he just did this year is disappointing. So
he averaged like 7.
I just don't think it was very good.
What did he average? 7 a game?
Like, he just didn't bring anything to the table like he did at Wisconsin.
It looked like he got a bag and quit trying. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, I think that will be a fresh start, you know, a new opportunity, and it should be a lot better for him for sure.
I mean,
6 points a game.
Yeah, 6 points a game, a rebound.
This is a dude that averaged 18 the year before.
Or something like it. A lot more at Wisconsin for sure.
Go to his career stats. Let's see what he was averaging in Wisconsin.
There was a lot of
not to get too riled up on AJ Storr guys, but 16.8 on good splits. He's kind of trash from the 3.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize he was St. John's the year before.
Yep,
anyways, we got Nick.
I don't have much on him. He needs to have it's a prove it year.
Yeah.
And he's already like 22 or 23 years old, so it's not like he's a first round draft pick. So it's a prove it year.
Yeah.
Arkansas finally got to pick up.
Go make your money.
Nick Pringle.
Finally, yep. He averaged like 9 points. South Carolina, big man. Good pickup.
I watched South Carolina play a few times because they were actually just the worst team in the SEC other than LSU, but they were on upset watch, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, a
in
few games.
All of those games. Like, they're like almost 10 possessions away from being in tournament contention.
Just close the
maybe.
game. Just close the game.
Multiple games.
And I really like their coach too. I like the way he handles himself. I like his post game interviews. I don't know much about Nick Pringle other than the fact that he's a hustle guy. It's not like he's gonna be out there jacking a bunch of threes. Yeah,
got you, bro.
Appreciate it. So we'll see, but Cal's probably got something up his sleeve. I mean, what did they go Elite 8 or Sweet 16?
They went to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Same as we did.
Yeah. So he's probably got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, that's
Thiero might be coming back. I don't know.
first transfer portal commit, but yeah, they've a couple guys that are kind of like on the fence to NBA are coming back, and then they got some incoming freshmen, so they should be all right.
I like that Darius, a Cuff kid in high school that they picked. He reminds me of like baby Westbrook. Like, the way he's built, he's raw.
Auburn got a pretty good pickup.
Keyshawn Murphy, Mississippi State. He played really good in the games against us. He can shoot it too.
He was big in that Baylor game too in the tournament.
Yeah.
The first round game, he was big in that game, just like hustling and whatnot. I remember watching him.
Did they fall short in the tournament and make it second round?
No, Baylor got him. Remember because Baylor played Duke.
Yeah.
The tournament's like a blur. I can guarantee it is for you all too. Like
it just happens so
happens
fast.
so fast.
But it's like that every year, you know. Unless there's like those memorable upsets that you're never going to forget, you know. And then obviously the Final Four, National Championship, Elite Eight, those are usually games that you're not going to forget either, especially if your team's playing in them.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to talk about two former U of L players. We got Mike James, was at Louisville during the Kenny Payne era, was at NC State this past season. He's going to Vandy. Nate, touch a little bit on that. What do you think about Mike James and his development of a player?
I mean, I'm not really too sure. I don't.
I agree.
I don't really know, Trent. He's a guy coming off a Kenny Payne team to an NC State team that I'm not gonna watch, and we'll see in the SEC this year though.
NC State was just an absolute flop, and it was actually kind of crazy to watch.
You can't fire Kevin Keats.
You can't, no.
But I guess if you're getting Will Wade, you can fire Kevin Keats, which is what they did. Had they gotten anyone else, that would have been a flop of these. Like that would have been so bad. But they got Will Wade, so I can't really say anything. And they've got a bunch of guys in the portal now.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Corin Johnson, you got him today going to Ole Miss from Louisville. Didn't really even get to play in a Louisville uniform. I was pretty excited about him coming in. I mean, he had a nickname. It was like Scoring Corin. He averaged a good amount of points, I think, at Washington, but he just came in.
I think he was Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year, right?
Yeah, he got hurt,
when
though.
He was at Washington,
was his second game of the year, never played again. So good luck to him. You know, it is what it is.
It's kind of with Lamar. I kind of feel like he's saying he wants to bring IU basketball back. I mean, how much of that is a reality compared to what we've seen from other players in this era? Just a thought, just food for thought there.
Yep.
Secondly, though, Corin, and I'm thinking the same thing with Lamar. There's not enough ball to go around.
Right.
It's to a point where our guard room we picked up 3. 4 if you're counting the freshmen. So he's not going to play. He's old, and love the guy for committing and getting us back, kind of, because that recruiting class that Pat Kelsey got in the portal is what brought Louisville back.
The attention.
So I appreciate Corin for that, but I'm not tripping off this.
All right, so that's going to wrap up pretty much a little bit of the college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a crazy amount of movement today. I'd definitely say the best thing was Lamar Wilkerson. Not the best thing in the sense that he chose Indiana over Kentucky, but just that he finally made a decision. All right.
We're going to talk about Rory McIlroy for a little bit.
Rory McIlroy. I mean, first of all, I'll kind of lead this here. That was like top 5 TV I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
I did not. People are going to say I'm crazy. I didn't watch the 2019 Masters. I've only ever watched it on YouTube. So I don't have a lot of experience with the Masters and them being that great, because I probably started watching it the year after, or the year after that maybe, when I actually finally got myself into golf. But obviously I've known these names forever. Rory has been around. I mean, it's
forever.
17 years going at so going at the Masters. So he's been around forever. It makes you like, you're watching that and it almost makes you feel proud for the guy.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
You're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe
he finally did it,
overcame that hump of
11
missing
years.
A putt,
it's
missing
insane.
It was like choking though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like choke and choke and choke. But, I feel nothing but good for the guy. It wasn't as emotional as the 2019 Masters, but it was a very close second when you consider his full story.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to touch on it a little bit too, because it's pretty cool how the final group was Rory and Bryson DeChambeau, just because of the fact of last year in the U.S. Open. I mean, Rory had that major, and it just slipped right out of his hands, and Bryson came in and got it. And I think, that gave him a little bit more motivation on that Masters Sunday, and especially when you know that you need the Masters to complete the Grand Slam. and I think he's now the 6th golfer ever to complete the Grand Slam. It's really just incredible, and the fact that he did it, not only doing it easy. He didn't really do it easy. It was in some crazy fashion.
No, it was the most Rory game of golf you'll
like,
ever see in your life. He walks into the day with a 3-stroke lead.
After
the 4.
No, it was a 2-stroke because it was -12, and DeChambeau was -10. Rory double bogeys the first hole, and Bryson birdied. So it was like right after that, I was like, here we go.
Yeah, Bryson goes up.
And right then and that is when I loaded $25 into DraftKings and bet on Bryson DeChambeau.
Yep. And that's when I cashed out my Rory bet and put it on DeChambeau, and all my money's gone now.
But that's besides the fact, because at the end
we're
of the day,
going to have a parlay of the day for you guys every time.
We will. But it's cool that Rory finally got to be emotional and experience that Masters green jacket. There was a video I saw on Instagram, and it just showed him like touring the green room where only people who are champions can tour it. And he didn't say a word, just soaking it in. And he finally realized, like, I did it. And I honestly think, and we talked about this before the Masters. I said he's playing really good golf. His putting has been really, really good. I could honestly see him winning another major this year, the way he's playing. But
sheesh, that's a lot.
That's a hot take? Not really. I don't think so, because I think he's balling right now with his putter.
He's got a crazy tan line right there.
Yeah, because
that's 72 holes of golf right there, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of golf.
That's funny.
Long 3 days.
Nate, how do we feel walking away from the Masters here?
I mean, the Masters was great. I loved watching it. I wish I could hit a golf ball half as good as they can. I mean, unbelievable, especially the way it ended, what it came down to. You guys already covered it, but it was a great Masters, and looking forward to the next tournament.
Yep.
I think the best shot of this tournament was Rory's shot on 15. I think it was his second shot, and he takes a 7-iron, and he hits it about 210 yards, curls it around a tree, and it's 4 foot from the hole, and I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What makes that shot even cooler is I don't know if it was round 2 or round 3. Actually, yeah, I think it was – no, it might have been round 1. He was playing perfect golf, and then he gets to 15 – goes in the water. He double bogeys. I remember when you were talking about it.
Yeah,
and then the next hole, he double bogeys again or whatever. And he's like, man, I played, 36 holes? And I played 34 holes of good golf.
Yeah.
And 2 of them didn't go his way. And then the fact that he came back on Sunday and hit that shot on 15 was just absolutely insane.
He's a legend now. I mean, if he wasn't already, he probably already, I mean.
Top 5.
5-time major champion.
He's top 5.
Yeah.
He's top 5.
He's top 5.
Top
Are we
5.
going down? I'm not going down that list today. Tigers won, and it doesn't matter.
But we're going to shift
true.
now. We're going to talking about the NBA, which has been.
We're talking about.
What do you think about the NBA this year, for real?
I mean,
nobody's talking about it.
So, y'all know how I feel about the NBA, but the playoffs are here, so
it's
all good now. It's all
here.
good now.
Yeah. So everybody's going to watch the NBA now.
The West was really entertaining. I'm going to let Nate kick this off, but the West was really entertaining.
So, NBA this year, I'm a Wizards fan, so I'm just going to put that out there.
Jesus.
I mean, it is what it is. But the playoffs are here, and we're happy about it. There's a lot going on in the NBA. There was a lot of movement this year. I think the biggest trade of the last 10 years probably took place this year with AD and Luka. And
probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, it's just madness in the NBA. What are we thinking about these play-in games? I mean, we have some tonight, so we'll kind of have to look first round playoff picture. But how are we feeling about the play-in and then the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah.
I don't believe in any play-in team.
You know, it could be. What are these teams going to actually do is what it comes down to for me. I don't think the Grizzlies can get past Ja throwing grenades into the crowd. I don't think the Kings should have copied the Chicago Bulls and ran Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the same team that won no more than 40 games ever. And it's unfortunate for the Mavericks because if they had Kyrie and AD, they'd be disgusting.
Yeah.
And the Timberwolves would 100% be in the play-in, and they're an actual live dog. The Timberwolves are a play-in. Like if they get in the play-in, you're like, okay, Anthony Edwards is good enough to win you a series at least.
Absolutely.
So,
100%.
but when I look at these, I don't care about the play-in right now as much as I care about some of these critical matchups in the bulk of the Western Conference. No one has talked about the Clippers this year based on the fact that you actually can't watch them on TV other than when the NBA reschedules their games. So I'm actually taking them in 6 against the Nuggets.
I actually think they'll win that series. A healthy Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
scary, dude.
that's insane.
He scored. What was his he scored 32 on 13 of 17 the other night. His true shooting percentage was like 91.
That's insane.
Like, that's insane.
I don't believe that the Nuggets have been playing the way they have been the last few years. I think, Jamal Murray's kind of taken a little bit of a dip, but when he gets in the playoffs, it's a different feel. The Nuggets have been there, they've done that, but I really don't think the Clippers are talked about enough. I mean, Kawhi is playing really good. I mean, you got other players that are going to come out and just really shoot the rock, and I mean, they're scoring. James Harden's doing good, and I think they're going to come out and win that series as well.
All right, yeah, I don't think anyone thinks that the basically coachless Nuggets are going to get past the first round.
The Lakers and the Timberwolves.
The Lakers and the Wolves. I mean, I'm obviously riding Lakers, but I told Trent before we got on camera, I mean, if there's one team that can actually do it, it's them because they can mess with their small ball lineup. You take Rudy off the floor and you're running Nas Reed at the 5, it's the same team.
Oh, yeah.
Except Anthony Edwards, give or take, I mean, he's the most athletic player on the floor, no matter what court he steps on.
Yeah.
So he can make a difference more than Luka can defensively, which I think could be the key here. I'm riding Lakers in 6. Don't be surprised if it goes 7. Don't be surprised if the Lakers are out round 1 because they're old. I love LeBron, but this is a tough first-round matchup in my opinion. Do you have any insight on that, Nate?
I think that it could go 7 games, or I think it could go 4 games, honestly.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those series, like, you really don't know what you're going to get until that first game. I do want to talk about looking at the Rockets and who they're going to have to play. We're sleeping on the Warriors, I feel like. They have Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and now you got a playoff Jimmy Butler. And they have been hot recently. I just don't see how we could sleep on them. They're 48-34. They won like 16 in a row, Jimmy Butler.
All
I
I got to
I'm
say
just going to
is...
sound like a hater, so I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sound like a hater.
Wife divorce,
just don't
child
see,
support,
don't want to see them there.
Lakers in 5.
You guys just don't want to see them there.
No, it's not that because I've come to love Steph Curry because it's not Cavs versus Warriors anymore. Even if because I think they're going to beat Memphis, they're going to get to the Rockets, and the Rockets are like so good defensively, like the number 1 rated defense in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't think that even if Curry scores 30 a game, they're winning this series, and it could go 7. But they're too young, they're too spry.
Yeah.
Who's going to guard Şengün? You're throwing Kevon Looney on Şengün? I don't think that's a good idea because we've seen what Jokic does to the Warriors.
I think all 1s and 2s will win. But if you want to talk about the Pacers-Bucks, I think that one's a little interesting because I feel like that one could go either way.
It's not interesting. Damian Lillard's not really playing, dude.
But the thing is you can never count Giannis out, and the Pacers are still a young team, and I think it'll be a competitive series though.
The one thing about the Pacers compared to some of these other teams in the Eastern Conference is they have a lot of guys who have been in a Pacers uniform the past few years. Completely different from a bunch of other teams in the NBA.
Do you like their core, though?
I don't love their core. I mean, they're okay. They were good enough to win last year, and I think they're good enough to win this year. And I think they are definitely good enough to beat a Bucks team without Damian Lillard.
Let me just say something, though, and I could be completely wrong. I don't believe in the Pacers at all. Let me tell you why. It took them 7 to beat a Knicks team last year. Jalen Brunson's on a sprained ankle. OG is not playing. Mikal Bridges, not there yet. Like, Karl Anthony Towns, not there yet. I don't even know who they beat other than Jalen Brunson. And he's pretty easy to just guard. He's 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
He's not easy to guard one-on-one, but when you're playing one versus 5.
I agree.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They had a couple injuries.
You can't guard him one-on-one.
No. I know what you're saying, though.
Like,
But I mean, looking at the Knicks, they haven't beat a top 5 team in the
They're
league all year.
juiced, though. Like, they're the Knicks from last year on roids.
I don't know though. I think that could be one right there that could be
First of
an
all,
upset.
Pistons are winning like 1 or 2 of these games, though, because they're just, I believe in them to win 1 or 2 of these games.
I
But
think
they're
they could
not
win
getting
They have a
wins.
good young core. I think
I
that
agree.
they
I
are
think that
very
you think the
good
Pacers
sleeper
are
team.
what the Pistons are going to be in like a year or 2.
See, I think the Pistons could beat the Knicks in the series. The Knicks,
So he already believes in the Pistons.
I
So,
mean,
yeah.
I do.
I don't doubt that at all. Honestly.
I'm not a big believer in the Knicks this year because they haven't beat anybody good. They beat all the mid teams on their schedule. When you look at the top teams in the league, they cannot beat them. So maybe they get by Detroit in the first round. But Detroit, that city, they're going to be on this Pistons team during this playoff series. They have not been to the playoffs.
Cade
They've
Cunningham is
sucked
a baller too.
for
and I
years.
think he's having a career year this year, and he's really going to try and make a mark in the playoffs. I know they want to win a series, so
They're going to want it more. I'm telling you.
Cat's going to be a
I
hard
like
person
this.
to guard. though, for
Detroit
sure.
sports have been in
Shambles.
parallel since Miguel Cabrera retired. So it's been bad for a while. I mean, you guys won 15 NFL games, but if you're going to win it 15 NFL games, you might as well make the NFC chip, and you can't even do that. So. Anyways, I think this series comes down to the specific matchup of Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Duren. The Knicks are going to have a hell of a time in the paint because Cat's going to be standing at the three-point line and Jalen Duren's their shot blocker. You're going to get him out of the paint. Vice versa, Jalen Brunson, 20 free throws a game, just like Shea. So I think that's how this series goes, but I'm also just an old head. So,
All right,
I
real
don't
quick,
know.
before we move on from this, who's winning the championship? Who
It's
y'all got?
Lakers. It's been Lakers since the trade happened. It's been Lakers since Nico Harrison was born.
I don't think they'll
Since
win.
Nico Harrison was
I would love to
born.
see the Lakers win, but I don't think that's happening.
This year, I'm going to roll with SGA and the Thunder. I believe they're the most complete team. People hate because he goes to the free throw line so much. You can say what you want. They're the best team, most complete team. They're 68-14 for a reason, and they're going to cruise their way to the finals. They're probably going to see either the Celtics. I could possibly see, I don't really know, maybe the Cavs. But if I had to pick my top 2, I'm going to go Celtics, Thunder. I'm going to take the Thunder in 6 games.
I think if the Thunder make it and they play the Celtics, they're winning, but I don't. Like, I think what's weird is I say I don't care about these playing games. Imagine, like, this is going to sound crazy, guys, but imagine a very experienced team like the Kings get in that game, and it's nothing but experienced guys versus these youngins. I think that's tough. I think it's a tough spot, and even if the Kings don't win, if you take them 6 games, that's a bad look. Their confidence is going to be down because they're going to be feeling like we should have got out of here with a sweep. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that older teams will give them fits. And the Celtics, like everyone talks about, Thunder swept the Celtics. Thunder swept the Celtics. The Celtics aren't that much older than them. The nucleus of the Celtics is not much more mature than the nucleus of the Thunder. A team like the Kings with Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeMar, who are just trying to go out there and do everything for that whole team, I could see it being trouble. I believe in the Thunder to get to the second round.
Yeah.
But I do think that is their ceiling. Because they would have to play Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. I mean, I'm riding with the Celtics. I mean, they did it last year. I know they're not having the year that they did last year, but it's the playoffs. They've been there. They're ready to go. I think their coach is going to get them locked in. Tatum in the playoffs has been really good the last year, and then you got Brown too, Porzingis, you got Pritchard, you got all kinds of talent, Derek White, all these players that are playing and have had the experience in the playoffs. I just think they're hard to beat, and they're the hardest team to beat in the playoffs. So, but that's pretty much all I got for NBA.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Reeves and Luka Doncic.
that pretty much wraps it up.
Rolling Lakers. Lakers in 5. Give me 4. if they
Mentally, I want the Lakers to win.
Give me 4 if they want.
Does that wrap it up?
Yeah, there was a couple more things we could have hit on. The Nico, I don't even know your name.
I am a Leva because he left Tennessee.
I am a Leva.
See ya, Vols, and see ya, no Final Four.
First of all, big props to Josh Heupel for standing
Yeah.
his ground. I mean, way to hold the program up, buddy, because if you would have paid him, you would have had people named Squirrel White asking for $2 million. You don't need that. So you got to be careful with who you're paying these days. Kids got a big head about all this, in my opinion. I didn't play D1 ball. I did do the college sports route, and I wasn't making nothing, and I was just fine.
Yeah.
And it was NAI and D3 ball, and I had some of the most positive experiences in my life. And I feel like that's what we're losing in a lot of this. I'm not going to get super deep into that. He played college ball as well, and I think he'd kind of reiterate the same thing, though. Nico, buddy, Tennessee's been really good for the last few years. You're in a really good spot.
Yeah.
Don't mess this up.
But he messed it up.
Why would you even want a guy like that on your team? Like, I mean, you're already
I
paying him.
wouldn't either.
No, absolutely. And it hurts him now because all these teams are going to be like,
John Summerall don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
John Summerall.
John Summerall don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm sure next week we'll get into some football talk.
Watch out for his commitment, though. I heard something spicy about Nico. Notre Dame might be out. People are saying Notre Dame's out now. He might go to Notre Dame.
I think UCLA, but
He might go to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, if there was a parlay, if there was like a betting option on this, they would definitely be a live dog. So just watch out for that. Another thing, one more thing to harp on. Nada Mint. Just have no idea where this kid's going. What is the top 5? It's Duke, Louisville, UK,
Arkansas.
Tennessee, and Arkansas.
Yep.
I mean, I don't really.
Duke's a lock. I mean, I'm not even going to like
It's gotta
sit
be.
here and
It's probably going to be
pretend.
Duke, but people keep saying, like, how is he going to play over the Boozer twins? Another thing to think about is Michael Brown was his roommate at the
Yeah, no, I know.
Nike Hoop Summit in Oregon.
And I saw where he's trying to like, hey, come on, like, let's go. Like,
yeah, like, I don't know that, like, I'm not personally just like our season's living on Nada Mint. I would love the commitment though. I think Tennessee still is in consideration. Rick Barnes is never out of the conversation to get a top commit.
absolutely. He could end up.
There is
really
no
anywhere.
signs pointing though that he's going to UK or Arkansas. Zero signs.
I disagree with you. I don't think he's coming to UK, but I do think there's a chance he might end up in Arkansas. They don't have a lot of signees. They got some guys
That's
on the
true.
fence, and Cal goes after young 5-stars like Nada Mint.
And I think that adds to what I'm saying is it's obvious at this point, if that was his first choice, he'd already be committed. They don't
Yeah.
have anyone else there.
Well, there's got to be something that's taking this time up. I don't know if it's money or him finding the right place or what it is, but if Cal needs that guy, he's going to go get that guy.
I agree with
And,
Nate.
and I think that's where he's going to end up.
I don't think Nada Mint is just going to be a guy that comes in and he's Cooper Flagg or Zion Williams.
No,
Like,
no.
So I don't know that this is even worth talking about, but it's been going on and it's getting hotter and it's getting hotter as the commitment date gets closer, which isn't a set date. He just said he was going to announce it. Definitely watch out for Louisville, Duke, and who's the other, and Tennessee in that conversation, in my opinion. I think if he were to narrow it down to a top 3, that would be the top 3.
Yeah.
Based on everything I've heard. Scouts are high on that kid, so wherever he goes, maybe they're getting a dog. I don't know.
Yep, absolutely. I got one thing though, real quick before we wrap this up. NFL draft.
Show off.
NFL draft. We got a few UK
Oh
players.
yeah, we didn't even hit the NFL draft.
Few UK
dude.
players that are going to be in the NFL draft. Tyler Shuck obviously is looking to be a quarterback selected maybe in the first round, probably more second round. Nate, give me your opinion on some of the UK guys. I know it's Maxwell Harrison is one.
Deion Walker was like
And-
mock first round all year, and then like I guess he didn't have that
So
great year.
yeah, so Dion actually hurt his stock in like the pre-workouts and stuff.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently, that's from what I've read online. That's just what I've seen. But on the other hand, Maxwell Harrison had a great workout and seen him high in some mock drafts.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where he goes.
He had a great 40 time, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he ran like
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was. It was 4 something.
So that was the weird thing about Quincy Riley is like we always thought he was like burners. He's really not. He's like a 4.5 guy,
Honestly,
which is like still burners. I can't even run a 4.8, so don't even come at me like that. But
I love Quincy Riley, don't get me wrong, but there were a few times last year where he did get burnt, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
noticed
he
it.
got
But
burnt.
he also is just a really good player in most possessions, anyways, and he's always
He's
going
a
to be
physical
a reliable corner. you know?
physical corner. I think that's why he'll do good in the league. I think let's hit on this for a brief second. Shedeur Sanders, you're a Giants fan. You guys aren't taking him with that 3 spot. It's pretty evident at this point.
Here's what I'll say about the NFL draft. We know number 1 pick is a lock, but 2 to 7, we have no clue.
Yeah.
It could go a lot of different ways.
People have their mock drafts, and they're going to assume what they're going to assume. But, I mean, in reality, the top 3 is going to be Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter. And I think that is probably a lock. Now, not a guarantee. Like I said, there's crazy shit that happens. But no doubt, I have a feeling that Cam Ward's going to end up on the Titans. And
he's number 1.
You know what I think's going to happen?
For sure going to happen.
You know what I think's going to happen? The Giants are going to draft Travis Hunter at number 3.
I can see that.
After that happens, they're going to call New Orleans. They're going to say, hey, buddy, up that 9, that number 9 pick. I got Russell Wilson for you. That replaces Derek Carr being hurt all year. Russell Wilson steps in. He's serviceable. Chris Olave coming back. There's weapons there. Alvin Kamara.
Crazy trade.
Right there, the Giants take Shedeur. Or they don't draft Travis Hunter and they take Abdul Carter and they have the best defensive line in the league. And with the best defensive line in the league, surely to God you will make some noise.
I don't know.
Either way, if the Giants don't take Shedeur Sanders, Joe Shane, buddy, just come to Shelbyville. We got jobs here, banks, schools, East Middle football might
Shelby
be
County
open
High
for
School.
you.
They need a football coach bad.
But the NFL's not for you, dog.
Yeah.
Because if you think for 1 second, my buddy right here is a Steelers fan. So he knows personally. It's
Please
funny.
draft Tyler Shuck.
It's funny how these worlds collide here. If you roll with Russell Wilson for a whole year,
not going good.
It doesn't matter if you get to the playoffs. You're not going to do anything, and your fans are just going to be in the same spot that they were.
Should have played Justin anyways.
You gave
him.
We're not going to talk
money.
about that.
So we're going to leave it there with some good food for thought. As the draft is 9 days away now, think about things we might be seeing. Interact in the comments, like, subscribe, do all of these things. Get the word out. We are trying to grow this as fast as possible. Get guests on here. We love doing this. We love talking sports. These are just the takes that made it out of the group chat. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get out of here. Love you guys. Thank you guys. Peace.
Peace.